Episode 70. Got it. Good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Hey, and welcome back to the Right Hand Drive Guys podcast, the show for guys who like right-hand drives. As always, I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
Yo.
And this is episode 70. And today we just kind of wanted to go through I don't know, the current events, this state of the culture, I don't know what you want to call it, but we just wanted to chop it up a little bit about some different things that are happening, within, I guess, you could say the culture that we're a part of.
Yeah, it's springtime, dude. Everyone's getting their cars out.
Yeah.
All this action's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, businesses are doing their thing. Yeah, it's definitely a time to move, right? This springtime is always when everybody's excited, and we're excited too, of course, and, we're working on our projects behind us, as much time as we can.
Yeah.
But it's been 1 year since we first visited Japan.
Oh, yeah, man.
And go ahead.
Yeah, seeing the memories pop up, it's just
Yeah.
took me right back,
Yeah, almost instant depression. And Jet envy. What were we saying? Japanvy, yeah. So almost instant, right? Because not only the memories come up, then you see the boys over there for the events that we were there to attend.
Right. Like a couple weeks ago, the Matsuri happened at Ebisu.
So we're like, oh, man, even though it was kind of freezing and we were out there for hours and there was rubber all over our faces, we would do it again in a heartbeat.
100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you haven't been along with us for, the Japan trip and the rest of the episodes, I mean, we pretty much went for 2 weeks at that point. 1 week, we did a little bit more sightseeing and that type of thing. My wife was along with us for that week. We stayed in hotels. Yeah. We kind of just explored and got the lay of the land.
Right.
Then the second week, we had rented a little camper van type thing. We sent my wife packing. Love you. And it was just us. And we packed this next week just full of everything, right? As much stuff as we could with the time we had during Golden Week.
During Golden Week, and we were everywhere from Tokyo to Osaka, which
for sure,
pretty big gap there, and with the traffic and all,
it was wild.
Thinking back, it's kind of crazy how much we traveled around and just drove. How much we drove around. You drove your 34 GTR, just around Japan. How many miles?
Thousands of kilometers.
Yeah,
and then. For part of this, he's chasing me with the camper van, and that's obviously limited at whatever kms, and I'm sitting here stretching
I don't think it was,
legs.
man.
Oh,
so
I think downhill you were doing 110?
Oh, yeah, I had the same speed cut you did, I think.
Yeah, so we had a blast, and it really kind of introduced us to the culture, and again, like he said, we got to do the Matsuri, and we were able to check out some of these iconic places that we really wanted to. Some were closed for Golden Week. Yeah. And we kind of did have a little bit of trouble just kind of navigating, okay, what's going to be open, what's going to be closed. Right. We got to check out Jay's Racing. We got to check out Spoon, Global Auto, Top Rank, all these places. And we took a, tour of all of the up garages that we passed, right?
Yeah, every single up garage, dude, we went in there and just looked at all the parts, all the wheels. Yeah. You were trying to get rid of those T37s.
You were trying to find something to flip. Yeah. No, we were just trying to see what's up, because of course we've heard so many stories about, found this at Up Garage, whatever the case may be. That's the place where you can find the stuff, ship it back, and instead of paying the U.S. tax, so to speak. So we definitely made sure to hit those. If we saw one, the brakes were squealing, and we were whipping it in there. And so that kind of brings us to the next thing is Up Garage, right? Yeah. That's something, and if you don't know what an Up Garage is, if you just haven't, it's basically, some new parts, but mostly used parts store.
Yeah, they buy and sell. It's pretty much like a thrift store for car parts, I guess you could say.
So yeah, I mean it's like you go in and there's tons of wheels, headlights, taillights, just you name it, head units, seats, steering wheels, like everything.
All these rare like OEM parts that you might not ever see or only see every once and again. And they even had trash. They had front grills off these K-vans and like these giant headlights off cars you didn't even know what they were. But it was still cool to be around, and it's still cool that they cater to the scene, and they really put out.
Yeah, and I'm usually not one like to thrift shop, so to speak, not like, oh, I don't thrift shop, but like, I don't know, normally I don't necessarily enjoy going into a place and just like searching through a bunch of stuff that I don't know. When you buy new, obviously you know what you're going to get, right? When you walk into the new store, when you walk into a used store,
you have no idea.
Yeah, but at Up Garage, I enjoyed it. Like sifting through everything, it was like looking for treasure. Right, we find those 32 N1 headlights, and I'm wait, what can we do with these? And like, oh shit, some JZ80, whatever headlights. Oh, those are the glass ones. Like, and so it was cool. Like, it was like the one time that I've really enjoyed kind of like thrift shopping, if you wanted to call it that.
Right. It was like part of the hunt, and like obviously all the cards and stuff, all the tags are in Japanese. Like you could just see, the chassis code or an engine code or like, so that was also kind of a fun part of it, is just, I don't know, just part of the hunt, part of.
Yeah, it's like treasure, right? Yeah. Like you're like when you found that steering wheel that you brought home, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm like,
this is actually sick. Like legit, and there was a few cool things. Like, so realistically, right, you're going through these places.
Yeah.
And if we went through 12 like places, we found something at what? 3 or 4 maybe that was like, oh shit, this is here.
Yeah.
Like that kind of replacement MFD.
Oh, right.
Whatever
the
that
grid
was.
racing MFD for the 34s.
Was like, dang, this is here. You look it up and it's like, oh wow, this is actually $400 cheaper than I could get it on eBay.
Yeah.
This is a good find.
Right, but I can't do anything with it.
Yes, exactly.
but
you're like, whoa,
sick, dude, this is cool.
This is one of those deals people get. Yeah. Right. So, and of course here in the U.S. we don't have an Up Garage. We really, I wouldn't say that there's like a chain that's like that.
No.
I don't think it works here.
No.
But we need it. But the problem is Japan is small compared to the United States.
Yeah.
So to have these stores in Japan, right?
Yeah. There's over 230 in Japan.
Right. So that's actually a good number for the amount of states we have.
Yeah.
But for the land that covers, like it's not, so it's really hard. So it wouldn't make it here like that.
Right. They couldn't use the same model in the States. I don't think so. One, I don't think there's enough of that type of like tuner car culture left to like support the secondhand market in that sense.
Yeah.
But they're trying.
And a lot of Americans, not all, don't get me wrong, but a lot of Americans like want new, right? Like they want new, like, whereas I feel like the Japanese, because, dude, some of the parts in Up Garage were like, holy crap, dude. This is like kind of beat.
Yeah, like these are spark plugs.
These
are used spark plugs. Like, what is going on here? This is a used water pump. Like, who's buying it?
Yeah, but somebody does. So what we're getting at is we love our Up Garage.
Yeah.
We would love them to come to the United States, right?
Yeah.
And they just built a store in California.
Yeah.
A little south of LA. So they're trying it, right? And it's interesting. Yeah. It's very interesting, right? Because Super Auto Box created a store in southern LA or whatever. In this building. Up Garage.
Oh, it was in the same building?
Yes, Up Garage opened in the old Auto Box building. And it was a Super Auto Box.
Yeah.
And I think it
was early 2000s, I believe, right?
Yeah, and I think they ran it. Like Up Garage didn't take the whole thing; they took part of it.
Yeah.
But it's so funny that like Up Garage moves into Auto Box old store that they obviously could not keep afloat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I did see it seemed like they must have shipped over like some of their best parts.
They must have because I mean I don't know it's just the secondhand market in America is just different.
Oh,
I feel
for sure.
like it's more person to person rather than it's more people on marketplace than going into a store, selling your old stuff, buying new. Like I don't know.
Because
it's gonna be tough for me, especially only being one of them.
Right.
Like
so everybody's got to travel to that.
Right.
At first, it's going to be sweet.
Yeah, I'm sure it's sick. I'm sure they got a sick lineup of parts. Like, I'm sure they got all the confettis,
and that's the
all
hard
the Brit
part,
seats,
right?
all the...
Yeah. Once they sell out of that stuff that all those scavengers want, unless they can replace it. But now they're shipping it from Japan every time. They're not getting those trade-ins, like you said.
And plus, I mean, I wonder what the price point is going to be on some of these things. Because one of the things I liked about Up Garage is you can kind of find deals. Even nowadays, you could kind of find deals. They've always said that the price in the last few years has gone up on things like steering wheels used to be under $100. Now they're whatever 110 after the exchange rate. So I just don't know if you're going to be able to find those deals. Like everything's going to be
no, it won't be like that.
Right, it's going to be like almost retail. You know what I mean? Or like
hey, you can't get these things here like this.
Right
now, you can.
Right,
not like hey, you can get this at a better deal than you can get it. Right. Let's just say at Autobox or whatever. Right. So, yeah, I don't know how they'll do. I mean, I am excited that they see America worth investing in. Obviously the uptick in imported cars and stuff that helps. The 34 becoming legal, all of that. I mean, not even the GTR, but the GTT. Imagine how many GTT owners there are now.
Yeah,
it's a lot. Yeah, so I mean, I'm excited for it. Yeah. I probably never will step foot in it, unfortunately. Like I got JDM cars, we get JDM cars, but we'll never be able to step foot in that unless we.
Right, but it is cool. It is cool to see Japanese companies having a presence in this scene in America. Like Up Garage, Trust Kaikaku also has a store in the U.S. now. Yeah, and I'm just anxious to see who else can come along.
Well, I'm anxious to see how long they last.
That too.
So yeah, Up Garage. Let us know how it is if you go. Hit us in the DMs.
It's opening this weekend.
Yeah, go check it out if you're in the southern, LA area. So the next item on the docket is R34 track time. I guess you could call it.
Yeah, track time.
Track time.
Wink, wink.
So if you haven't seen it, I'm sure maybe you have. And this is actually one of the few things, dude, that we get that we're actually like, oh yeah, no, that guy lives close to us.
Yeah.
We really don't get that, in this, it's not like that. So this guy named Mark, he is on Instagram as R33 Skyline GTR. He's got quite a few of these cars. He's got an R1 34 GTR. He's got an S15. He's got a, what was that? The active red R34 GTR. Yeah. He's got an Mspec. Yeah, props to him, dude. Holy moly. But
that's a collection, dude.
So he teamed up with a guy that lives an hour and a half, 2 hours away from us named Hershey. And Hershey is kind of one of these mysterious guys. Unless you're in the game,
he's one of those dudes that only has one first name or one name on Facebook.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I don't know how he does it, but that's his first and last name. It's wild. But so the guy keeps a pretty low profile, right? He is heavy in the game though. So if you're also heavy in the game, you've probably heard of him. And he's from New Hampshire, which is crazy, right? Because a lot of times these guys will be from New York, New Jersey, Cali, Texas, these Florida, these type of states. You don't hear nothing like this from New Hampshire. And so Hershey is the guy who supplies the tracks. He supplied the tracks. Yeah. He has, though, however, been importing R34 GTRs since 2010. And overall, he imports at times 400 cars a year.
That's numbers.
Yeah,
Holy
in
cow.
2022, he imported 400 cars, he said. So I just had a phone call with him right before this, and he kind of, gave me the lowdown. And because I was just kind of curious, like, hey, did Mark buy that M-Spec off you? And he said that he actually didn't get that one from him. And he said that car has quite the story, but he didn't elaborate. So I assume it's maybe not the best story. But Hershey has put tracks on 3 different 34 GTRs, 34 GTT, 33 GTR. Yeah. He's done the track thing, right?
Holy cow,
and so like we've seen him doing this for like years, But again, he's low key. So he himself, Hershey, doesn't like blow it up because he's like actually kind of just doing it for fun.
Right.
Which is so sick.
He'll post it on a group or two, but like he doesn't like blow it out or nothing.
Right. And so with this one, I think Mark really wanted to do something kind of unique. Mark's from New Jersey area. He wanted to do something unique. And Hershey's like, hey, I got the tracks. And so they bring him, they get the M-Spec. Now, mind you, this is like a $300,000+ car. This is an extremely rare Millennium Jade M-Spec. And he's like, yeah, no, throw the tracks on it. Like, fuck it. like okay, cool. So,
throw the tracks on it, dude.
And so they take it down to Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yeah.
On the Atlantic City beach and start ripping this M-Spec. Now, Hershey did say that this was like the least successful time that he's done the tracks.
Yeah.
Because of like, A, there was a lot of people on the beach.
Yeah,
B,
I'd imagine.
They didn't have like enough time to truly set it up so that the turning radius was what they wanted.
Right.
And then the sand really started flinging a lot more than they expected. And so obviously they weren't trying to run through that paint.
Oh, yeah.
Just doing this little
sandblasting it?
Mm-hmm, literally. So, I mean, if you look up Mark's Instagram or, Hershey also owns Blacked Out Motorsports. He posted it. You can see this. And, I mean, they still, like, look like they had quite a bit of fun with it, But he says when he puts them on the GTTs on, like, the lower-end cars where he doesn't have to worry, he said it's actually a blast.
I wonder how they work on the GTTs.
He said it's no different than a all-wheel drive car.
No
which
way.
Didn't seem to make sense to me, but I guess because of all of that traction.
Right. It's just
pushing it. Yeah. And so I guess because I was thinking like, well, the front tracks, but it's still creating resistance with what you're on, so it's still rolling those tracks.
There's still weight on them.
It's not like he's pushing the track. Like, so yeah, cool. I mean, these guys, I wouldn't say they broke the internet. I would say they definitely disrupted it a little bit with because, people obviously, especially people maybe that don't have 34 GTRs that really love them and they want to see the pure things done with them, right? Yeah. And they're like, this is not pure. You're putting goddamn tracks on this thing, know? And so I definitely recommend looking up that video, but I had asked Hershey, I said, you got any more plans on like doing anything with tracks? He's like, no. And I'm like, really? And he's like, well, yes, but I can't tell you yet. And so I'm like, okay, got it. Z-Tune on tracks coming right up. But so yeah, I mean, I thought that was like a pretty cool mentionable thing that these guys are willing to just take these beautiful cars out and really switch it up, because usually you just see like an ATV or something like that on tracks.
Dude, you see a 34 GTR on tracks, it looks like a Hot Wheels car.
Yeah, it does. Like, it kind of seems fake.
Yeah, it looks fake, dude. Yeah. It just doesn't even, like, my brain didn't even comprehend it at first. It was just like, what are you looking at? Like, it took me a second. I'm just like, wait, these dudes are wild.
And so, okay, so speaking of 34s, right? Most guys know Larry Chen. We definitely had the pleasure of meeting him at the Fuji Track Day that Top Rank put on for us the last time we went to Japan. Seems like a really cool guy.
100%.
Seems pretty down to earth. I know some people want to hate on him, like, oh, big YouTuber, big media guy. Well, listen, like, yeah, he is. and he put in his time to get there,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And
he kills it.
he cannot entertain everyone.
Right.
And that's something maybe that you and I understand, but maybe other people don't, right? Like, I knew that Larry Chen was not there to, like, give me his time. He was there to enjoy himself, so therefore I didn't demand his time.
Well, not even to enjoy himself. Dude had a whole photo crew.
Yeah, it's true.
Dude, he was
he
working
got to take a few laps, which was cool, but
he was working.
But overall, I would say he's a cool guy.
Oh, yeah.
So Larry has a Bayside Blue 34 that he sourced from Top Rank and that he did drive at that track day. And so he knew that he wanted to have this thing restored. I remember when he announced that he got it from Top Rank, that he said that he wanted to be one of those last 100 that Yoshida, did. And so I'm like thinking, like, he's already in there right now. Like, dang, like maybe he got bumped up, but like if not, it's only been like 8 months. Yeah. So like he got in within 8 months. That's not horrible.
No.
So Yoshida must have some room in there still. So if you want to get your shit refinished,
I think they just pump him out. Honestly, I don't think they have the, I don't know, like the restrictions, I guess you could say Nismo would with that type of restoration. Mm-hmm. They can, just do an entire car and have all the tools to do the entire car in-house right there.
Just bang it out.
Yeah, everything. Like to strip the car completely. Yeah, Larry's been doing a good job covering the restoration too on his Instagram.
Yeah, and so that was kind of the point is, he's showing us, pretty much from start to finish. He's showing us that process that Yoshida-san takes to tear down that car with his wife in 6 hours, dude. Yeah. He tore down an R34 GTR, rolls in within 6 hours. Him and his wife tore the whole thing down. So it was all in pieces, stripped down to the shell. Yeah. Ready to have the spot welds, drilled out or whatever and get to moving. And so, if you haven't checked out Larry's Instagram about this process, he was lucky enough to be able to cover that, kind of first few steps in the process to really kind of give you like some insight on what truly happens to these cars behind the panels.
Yeah.
When water and rain and different corrosives get in there, I mean...
It's a little scary.
Yeah, it is. You wouldn't even notice.
Because, I remember on one of his posts, he just blatantly says, if you have driven your R34 in the rain, you have rust. Like... yeah, that's crazy.
Because I've driven mine in the rain in the short time I've owned it.
right. So there was I don't know, I think it had to do with cost or something with Nissan not doing all the seam sealer that they should have, and that's what happens,
which is crazy.
Yeah, it affects the S15s as well, and that's like of the same era.
Right.
So
and so beyond that, that was just like, just in between these two panels. That's not speaking on like
and
underneath.
It's the strut towers. It's the like one of the main structural pieces of the car. Like you lose out your strut tower, dude, you're
in trouble. Nissan messed up on that heavy.
Right.
So, and I would assume that he's going to go on to cover more of this process.
I hope so.
And, because a guy was asking me, he's like, well, how is Larry Chen, how can he do this? And, I'm trying to explain to him, like, some people think, like, these YouTubers just get hooked up and it's just free, right? Like, it's just, well, did you notice that Larry Chen is documenting it all? That's not just for himself.
Right.
He's trading, you got to think different trades, different skills.
Yeah.
You can trade, barter, so to speak. So he's creating this whole media, like, outline for them of their process.
Right.
And I'm sure he's getting a little discount.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
kind of the same thing. Tommy F, he's been on other podcasts saying that any YouTuber that wants their 34 done or any of their Skylines done, he'll do them for free. Like labor is off the board because he knows he's going to
bring
get
it back tenfold. Yeah. Maybe that's not the best idea considering some of the things that have gone on with him, but like, I get it. It's like one of those things, the exposure, just like Dustin Williams with Top Rank.
Right.
He created a lot of sales for Top Rank.
Right.
I mean, he somewhat inspired me to use Top Rank. Yeah. And I don't even watch all his videos. So
right.
It's the same thing. Did he get hooked up with his van for the Japan in a van thing? Probably.
Right.
But then like they had this huge influx in rentals of regular ass cars.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, right? But I'll definitely be excited to see Larry's 34 finally done. And I mean, that's the dream to have it done in Japan like that.
Yeah, especially from Garage Yoshida. Like, and if you don't know who they are, look them up. Like,
you gotta know who they are,
dude. You gotta know who they are. I mean, they make the metal panels. Like, they have their own stamping machinery.
Yeah,
they I don't know. They make a lot of things. A lot of the seals they make. There's just
I heard that
they do a lot.
They purchase Nissan's old stamping equipment from those parts, and so to just create one of those machines is like impossible. It's huge. They had to move it in there, and so that's what's crazy. That's why Nissan, you're not going to see them producing it. They sold their machine, their stamps, whatever. Right. So, so speaking of 34s, it was quite the uproar recently in the 34 community, and apparently, they let an F1 driver loose on the streets of Japan in a rented 34.
Yeah. Again,
a second time, apparently. And so I guess the first time there was a little bit of an uproar, but the second time now they're like, all right, you're just kind of, being ridiculous. And so Lewis Hamilton, I don't know if he personally rented his. Probably, I doubt it. It was somebody else, right? But he was mobbing through the streets, just
hooning, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he was hooning.
Just hooning. Just beating on a GTR, which is cool. Like, I remember the first time he did this, he got not into trouble, but there was definitely a lot of people talking about it because he was, beating on these people's rental car, and I don't think they took too kindly of that, and they ended up getting on Twitter, and it was a whole big thing where they were pretty much just like, hey, what are you doing? This isn't how we do things. Like, it's not how the Japanese people do things. They wouldn't like you beating on their stuff unless you had some other something,
for sure.
Some other agreement, which I'm sure this time he did, because I don't even know if it was, I didn't see the Wawa plate or nothing, but he seemed to be having a good time, just banging through gears, and
he didn't blow the motor.
Right.
I don't know. I get it, but, I mean, I don't know.
They don't care he's Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, I know.
The first people that ran into the car, they don't care who
right.
They might not even know who he is.
I don't know why that's weird that he's choosing to go 34 GTRs.
Yeah.
He could just go McLaren it or do whatever,
or
right?
just go buy one.
Yeah.
Why don't you just go
own.
buy one? Have you heard of Top Rank? Lewis Hamilton, have you heard of Top Rank Imports?
Yeah, dude, we can hook you up.
Yeah.
Come on. But it just seemed like people really took that super seriously. Like he was disrespecting the car and all of that when we don't know this dude. Sure, he gets to drive F1, but that's in this purpose-built race car that's super controlled on, maybe this is what makes him truly happy is to be able to take a actual street car and hammer it on the street, and maybe he really likes 34s.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get his number. I can't ask him. You know what I mean? But so I mean, I don't know. Let these guys be, as long as they're not putting Japanese people in danger and stuff like that.
Right.
I personally didn't see any videos or anything, so I don't know. But as long as it's not that.
I don't think he's drifting through Shibuya or nothing.
Right. Oh, okay.
He's
cool.
not jumping the fence to Daikoku or nothing like that. But
he's just taking.
He's out there
having
a good time. I'm sure people are just hating on him because it's
right
34.
because he's Lewis Hamilton,
right? And who wouldn't want to do that?
I don't see anybody in here that wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I know.
For sure. Something we wouldn't want though, right? I mean, when it comes down to like the things that you build, right? Like if you're watching on YouTube, you can see Blunt Garage, right? It's something we built. It's not insane. It's not, whatever, but it's something we built and there's mad pride put into it.
Yeah.
And so no matter what level, and I'm sure a lot of guys can relate to this, no matter what level you build something, like when you build it, it's like yours and the pride there is just like huge. And I don't know if I'm sure you guys listening to this have had seen this shop. This shop was insane. Like when I first showed it to you're like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, no, dude, this is like their shop.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy moly. And so Drift Games HQ or was their headquarters?
Yeah. It was like their shop and it was pretty much everything. It was like their production studios where they did their podcasts, where they did all their editing. I don't know, man, they had a crazy shop and like all of their cars, were in there and
like displayed
perfectly. And if you haven't seen it, they had like a fake Starbucks in there for like one of the rooms and another like a fake 7-Eleven for like another one of the rooms.
Like a bunch of that type of stuff.
And it was just so cool to see, and like it was just so well put together and just looked
like
so nice.
Yeah. Like I thought at first, I'm like, oh, this is some like mega rich dude that like got bored and designed like a whole town inside of his garage. No, it was them, and they were actually like dudes that were in the culture and like a part of it, not just somebody coming in with money and trying to insert themselves into it. They built that off from,
off
their
the last
success.
10 plus years,
Yeah, which is huge. And so this place was awesome. Like he says, they would do all of their work out of there. They would because they were building cars and whatnot, right?
Yeah, I don't know how much like mechanic type work they were doing out of there, but they were definitely storing a lot of their cars there and just had them on display. And also, they were about to have like an open house type event because it hasn't been finished for that long. It's been a few months.
Yeah, it was not. No, it was not long at all. I think it was finished in like November or something, like at the end of the fall.
Yeah, so they had, they were about to have this open house, so they had all these extra cars that might not be there. They had all of their merch, all of like just, dude, anything you could imagine. They had all in one spot.
Yeah, just like you would, right? I mean, realistically,
And then, something happened. Like, they're in a compound with, I don't know, 2, 3, maybe 4 other shops. Something had happened at another shop and caused a catastrophic explosion. And it just
sounds like an insurance claim to me, boy.
Yeah, but dude, that's the thing though. He, Dave, the main Drift Games guy, he went on to say like insurance, like, yeah, sure, but like race cars don't necessarily have insurance.
Yeah.
All their footage from like the Drift Masters and like all these European drift.
Yeah, I saw the thing that he posted, and it was like this big case full of footage, like crazy.
Yeah. Like, so all of that. And then also Dave, he said that he didn't have anything at his house that was Drift Games related. Like, his house did not have a single piece of memorabilia, a single piece of anything.
This sounds like an ex-drug runner to me. He knew what he was doing for sure. He said, I ain't keeping nothing at the house, though.
So, like any memorabilia, any like, hard card or anything you got from an event or lanyard,
so he lost everything.
Like, dude, he lost
so this fire like flattened it. Like, there was just like the shell left and like some frames of cars and stuff.
Yeah, dude, it was really sad to see because they flew drones before they tore the place down. They flew drones around the place and like it was just so sad. Like, at one point they flew the drone up to like the wall that had broken down, and you can't really see much into it just because of the lighting and stuff. And then they changed the exposure on the camera and you can see the cars inside, and it's just that line of cars that was just like so sick was just like all just burned to a crisp, and you could see wheels and maybe some metal, and like it was just so sad to see. And it was like, man, I could not imagine
Going through that and having to pick up the pieces, you know, even though there's no pieces left to even pick up.
And then that's another thing. They weren't even allowed to even, you know, kick through the rubble. Like,
that's crazy.
They weren't allowed on the property. Whole place had to be torn down, and like they couldn't even go and search for anything. Like, not that there would be anything left. If you see the place, I mean, it's
destroyed.
It's so sad, dude.
I mean, so shout out to the Drift Games guys for, you know, they're still dealing with it. This was like a few weeks ago, but you know, like they're still dealing with it. You know, there's nothing like everything you've worked for being literally burnt out from under you.
And then, you know, just very recently, they had just started putting the finishing touches on their 2JZ, I believe it's a Murcielago drift car that, you know, they were doing in collab with Liberty Walk, which is kind of a big deal. You know, that's like a
it is
huge company, and like for them to be supported by Liberty Walk, you know, these Irish dudes. You know what I mean? It's kind of a big deal, and it's just sad to see that go up. It was just
that car burnt.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That would suck. Like, damn. So yeah, definitely, you know, thoughts with them. Hopefully they have some good fortune coming their way.
Yeah.
If karma's a thing, they're owed some good karma.
Yeah, I mean, and if you got time, go check out their channel, and Dave breaks down, you know, one of the first episodes after the thing, like he breaks down like the last, you know, 10, 14 years of how drift games became what it is today. And dude, it's like a crazy story. Like it went from, you know, him coming up in the drift world, then getting cancer, and then having to get out, and then just all this crazy stuff. And dude, they just stay at it, and they just stay rocking.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's like that ultimate story.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely shout out to them for, you know, having to go through this right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we, you know, episode 70, like I said, we just kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit, go over some, you know, current events, talk about that, you know, 1 year anniversary, having depression, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be right back at it. We got the Marketplace episode about to come out. We have the man Albo coming up.
The man.
Yeah, we have Albo coming on the podcast next week, so we're super amped about that. And yeah, I mean, tell your friends, have your friends, you know, listen to the podcast, send them the link through Apple Podcasts, whatever you got to do. Hit us up in the DM if you have any questions about anything, whatever, going to Japan, importing a car, anything like that. Hit us up on the socials at RHDGUIS. And for another episode of the Right Hand Drive Guys podcast, I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
See ya.
Peace.